Pat Riley on opening night in the NBA. Pat, you've had, of course, such great success over the years, but you were telling me a moment ago that there are still moments of anxiety for opening night.
Yes, I think it's more, Marv, just to get going. You know, I mean, after 25 years in the NBA, there have been a lot of opening nights, but I'm excited about this team. I'm excited about the possibilities, and we just want to get started. We want to play somebody else, and I think tonight's a good night for a good test.
And a lot of new faces on this ball club. 7 out of the 12 on the roster were not with you last year. Is that a concern?
Normally, it would be, but the 5 players that we brought back are what I consider to be the core players of the team, especially from a defensive standpoint. Also, the 4 players that we're probably relying on to play, of those 7 new ones, are all veterans. They're all experienced players. They've been around a long time. They know our 5. Our 5 knows them. They've played against them. We've scouted them. So I do think that transition period probably will not be as long as it normally would be. So I'm not that concerned about it. Besides, we can't use that as an excuse. We want to go out and play hard. We want to win.
Pat, what is the status of Rolando Blackman, who, because of the back spasms, missed the entire preseason, and we're told that he is available for tonight?
He missed 2 weeks, Marv. He had you know, a great 5 or 6 days in Charleston. Then he had the back spasms. It really flared up on him, and he missed 2 solid weeks just to get therapy and rested. He's had 3 very good practice days where there's been no pain. And yesterday in practice, well, I don't want to probably jinx him, but he looked like the Rolando Blackman that I remember from Dallas, so he will get some time tonight.
Still a desire to obtain a backup center?
We're still looking, you know. I mean, Dave and Ernie, you know, they're bone weary. I think the ears are falling off from being on that telephone, but we feel good about Charles Smith and Oak being able to back up Patrick on the interim, but obviously somewhere along the way we're going to have to get an insurance big man in case something happens to one of our other guys, so we're looking.
And John and I moments ago helped Pat prepare his pregame remarks. What have you decided to tell the club this evening?
Oh, I haven't anything real special that I'd like to convey through you to the audience out there, but if there's one thing I would like to remind them of, I would remind them of exactly what it was and why we got to play the Bulls in 7 games last year. It had nothing to do with offense. It had to do with what I call big muscle activity, you know, defense and rebounding, stepping up and getting in front of people, making your presence felt. And that's why we advanced, and we can't come out here tonight and think we're going to win it with offense.
Okay, Pat, best of luck to you.
Hey, Mark.
Okay, let's get back to Mike.
Thank you, Marv. And, of course, the 2-time defending champion Chicago Bulls play against their most serious challengers in Cleveland tonight, the Cavaliers, as they open up the 47th NBA season. Chicago hoping to become the first team since the Celtics in 59 through 66 to at least 3-peat. And Lakers under their new coach, Randy Funn, across town L.A. to face the Clippers. Magic Johnson won't be there ever again to bail them out. The new clubs tonight. Daly and the Nets are in the Spectrum to take on Doug Moe, who is resurrected as the new director of Philly ball. Daly's going to give the ball to Kenny Anderson as his point guard, who, after languishing on Bill Fitch's bench last year, is trying to forget about that nightmare.
You know, 2 years in college, coming out early, being a man and playing 30-plus, 40 minutes and not playing at all. But I have no grudges, you know, against Bill Fitch and the Nets organization. It's something you got to go through in life. That might have helped me throughout my career, going through that experience.
Well, it's been an interesting process. You know, you take over a club, and you got to start from the beginning, very much like I did when I went to Detroit. Find out who is what and what people can do, where they are physically, what they know about the pro game, what we need to try to teach them, make decisions on offense and defense, and then start working at it, because that's what you have to do. You could say, well, I want to be a defensive team. Yeah, it took 9 years or 8 years or 7 years to get to be a defensive club like Detroit. Or you want to be a great offensive club like this particular club. It takes time, and it's going to take time.
Chuck Daly talking to MSG's Bob Page.
His newest Knicks throughout the preseason as they adjust to his demanding style of basketball. He has watched them get acquainted with the holdovers from last year's successful squad and can't help but be excited by what he sees.
The expectation level is high. It should be. We should be excited about it because, you know, based on what happened last year, the town's up, you know, the media's up, and why not be part of that? And if we work very hard to try to get to another level, then people will continue to enjoy that.
Tonight, that hard work begins in Atlanta as this highly anticipated season gets underway. Welcome to the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. Opening night of the 1992-93 NBA season with the New York Knicks going against the Atlanta Hawks. For the Knicks, the start of a busy weekend in Atlanta tonight, back at the Garden tomorrow night for the home opener to get the season underway. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with John Andres, and for the Knicks, it is year number 47 as a charter member of the National Basketball Association. John, I know that 1946-47 season provides some wonderful memories for you as you reflect on it.
Sonny Hertzberg, Stan Stutz, Bill Van Bredikoff. Marv, wasn't that the early years of you as a Knicks ball boy?
Oh, that's funny.
If memory serves me right.
Yes, very good, John. But this a New York Knicks squad that has dramatically restructured the roster. 7 new faces, as we have discussed on the pregame show, and we'll get a look at the new look Knicks for the first time tonight.
Yes, well, Pat Riley and Dave Checketts and Ernie Grunfeld sat down after the season and decided what they needed, and it was clear. Even the fans were telling them, Marv, more perimeter shooting, more offense to go with the tough defensive philosophy that Pat Riley has sold to this team. And that's exactly what happened with the Knicks. They went out and got offensive players, complete players as well, and a lot of versatility. People like Charles Smith who could play forward or center. And they've added Tony Campbell and the good scoring that he brings, and the other players, Doc Rivers' leadership. So this is a tough team now, a lot more dimension to the team, a deep team, and that's why the enthusiasm is so great this year.
And as Pat Riley was telling us earlier, Rolando Blackman, who is available for tonight's game, despite sitting out all of preseason with the back spasms, will play. What the role is yet to be determined, but he will be in action tonight. As for the Atlanta Hawks, this is a club that did not make it to the playoffs last year, and they are delighted to welcome back Dominique Wilkins, who missed the final 38 games because of that Achilles tendon injury.
Yes, Dominique Wilkins, a very important man to this franchise over the years, and he comes in with more enthusiasm, he said, than he's had in any season thus far. Dominique had a sensational year, of course, when he was on the court. His dynamic slam dunking style is back again, and his effectiveness driving to the basket is sensational. But his season came to a crashing halt late in January when he did fall down and ruptured that Achilles tendon. A very sad injury for the Hawks because that set them back. They were a winning team when he was out on the court, but a losing team after that. But tonight he's back and he's healthy. And Dominique is very much looking forward to this season. And also, Marv, when he scores his 25th point of the season, which could be tonight, he will become the 17th player of all time to reach 20,000 points in the NBA. So that's a big incentive for Dominique tonight.
And Dominique is currently the #2 all-time scorer for the Hawks. #1 man, Bob Pettit, who did it as a member of the St. Louis Hawk franchise. And Dominique will be passing Bob Pettit by sometime this season.
And, of course, if it happens tonight, naturally the game will stop and Dominique will be honored.
And also a new look for the Hawks, Mookie Blaylock, who was acquired from the New Jersey Nets, and the deal for Ramil Robinson will make his Atlanta debut. Moreland Wiley will be the starter at the point guard position, but the Hawks feel the acquisition of Blaylock will certainly help their cause.
Well, it's going to give them a legitimate point guard. They have not had that. They didn't have it with Robinson. Blaylock loves to give the ball up, and he will make this team better. And he will play tonight, although it'll be probably a couple of games before he really gets into that starting role.
And we are set for the introduction of the Hertz lineup. So let us join with the public address announcer here at the Omni in Atlanta, Kim Coleman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the beautiful Omni Arena. Tonight's exciting NBA contest is between the visiting New York Knicks and our Atlanta Hawks. And now for the introduction of the New York Knicks. A 6'7" forward, number 14, Anthony Mason. A 6'4" guard, number 16, Bo Kimball. A 6'6" guard, number 20, Rolando Blackman. A 6'9" forward, number 42, Eric Anderson. A 6'5" guard, number 44, Hubert Davis. A 6'2" guard, number 50, Greg Anthony. And a 6'10" forward, number 54, Charles Smith. And now the starting lineup for the New York Knicks. A 6'4" guard out of Marquette, number 25, Glenn Doc Rivers. A 6'5" guard out of Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks. A 7-foot center out of Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. A 6'9" forward out of Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. And a 6'7" forward out of Ohio State, number 9, Tony Campbell.
So the introduction of the New York Knicks, this a 25th anniversary of the Atlanta Hawk franchise. And
it's a great, great feeling. I'm really, really glad to be part of this organization.
He's the prototype off guard, and you know, we did not bring Rolando here to sit him on the bench. And Rolando is a big team, a big-time, big-game player that's going to hit the open shot and score consistently for him.
The third overall pick from Pitt in the '88 draft, Charles Smith makes the Knicks, as Pat Riley puts it, 6 foot 10 inches longer. He's powerful inside, adept outside, and will be a flexible player. After 2 straight 20-point seasons, though, he's coming off a year of injury with a bad knee. But this season, he knows Riley will demand that he's in shape and that he's not the team's centerpiece.
Playing second fiddle to Pat, or, you know, Charles Oakley's been in the league 8 years. I have great respect for the both of them, and they're very hard workers, and I'm more or less in a situation where I'm taking notes and noticing what they're doing and jumping in line.
I think Charles is the kind of basketball player that has great versatility, and you know, our role, I think, at least in the preliminary stages, for him would be to obviously get his back to the basket, become a major scoring force for us, to block shots, and to be able to play a couple of different positions. So, but again, until you coach somebody for 3 or 4 months in a number of games, you really don't know where he's going to slot in, but you look at him that way.
6'7" guard forward Tony Campbell finally found a home for his offensive creativity in Minnesota after 5 seasons with Detroit and the Lakers. Pat Riley is then well familiar with the speed and confidence he'll bring after 4,000 points in 3 seasons. It will mean, too, that like Smith, Campbell will have to get used to not being the main man.
I won't have to adapt too much or adjust too much, because in Minnesota I had to do a lot of adjusting because of the inconsistency of our expansion team, and I'm used to it. I think with the Knicks, we have people who can, you know, just flat out get it done, and whatever I can do to, you know, help those guys out or to add to, then that's what I'm going to do.
Tony is very versatile. He can play small forward and also off guard. He has great skills when it comes to putting the ball on the floor and breaking down the defense. So he has proven in the last couple of years that his scoring is not a fluke. He averaged 20 points a game in the 3 years he was with Minnesota, and we're going to get probably an offensive role for Tony that will make him happy.
In 9 NBA seasons, Doc Rivers has built an untarnished reputation as a leader, which is what he'll bring to the point of this Knicks team. He's coming off a single season with the Clips after getting the ball to Dominique all those years in Atlanta. He's a big part of the Knicks offseason blockbuster for Mark Jackson, but he'll remind us he is not what the Knicks gave up.
I'm not going to be Mark Jackson, I can guarantee you that. Mark Jackson's a heck of a basketball player. He does a lot of things great, and I do too, but we have different games. I am going to get the ball to Pat Ewing. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out the go-to guy.
The deal that brought us Charles Smith was very, very important, but he probably would not have made that deal unless Doc was involved. Losing Mark Jackson and his leadership skills, we feel like we have replaced that, and Doc will be, you know, a leader for us in that point guard position.
The Knicks' first-round pick, North Carolina's Hubert Davis. All you need to know about him is that his senior year numbers were 21 a game at 51%. He'll have to fight for playing time, but for the time being, the veterans are treating this rookie right.
Yeah, very much so. They've made a very easy transition in terms of getting along with the guys from college to NBA. Of course, I've had to do a couple rookie things like carrying bags and other stuff, but in terms of feeling comfortable on the court and feeling free of making mistakes, the guys like Patrick Ewing, John Starks, just made it very easy for me.
He's young, he's willing, he understands exactly the situation that he's in. He's a very, very good outside shooter. The thing that has impressed us the most is that he has a great knowledge of the game, and he has great stability emotionally, so we like it.
It's very much a changed team for Pat Riley, and that means chemistry could take some time.
We feel like we have some very good, very versatile talent. However, as far as a timetable as to when a team comes together, you just never know. You don't know how long it's going to take. The one thing I have been impressed with is that they've had a very cooperative attitude. They're all pretty smart players, basketball players, so they're picking up things very quickly. And I think they really understand what our philosophy is here. So, but as far as the whole chemistry type of cliche, I think that's going to take some time, and there's no telling when that really becomes solid.
So for Pat Riley, it is his second season as head coach of the New York Knicks, coming off the 51-31 campaign, and then on to the playoffs where the Knicks were so impressive, taking the defending NBA champion Chicago Bulls to 7 games in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Here at the Omni as we get ready for the Knicks and the Hawks on opening the New York Knicks.
Yes, I see the Knicks doing it.
All right, we'll be keeping tabs, and of course we'll check you out at the end of the season.
And I hope we save this tape, Marv.
I have a feeling we will. And we are just about set for the start of the action following the extensive pregame ceremonies. A look at the starting lineups. Doc Rivers, John Starks in the backcourt for the Knicks. Patrick Ewing at center. Charles Oakley and Tony Campbell are up front. And you see the Hawks with Morton Wiley, 5-year man out of Long Beach State, opening in the backcourt with Travis Mays, Blair Rasmussen at center, and Dominique Wilkins and Kevin Willis in the front court. The officials are Mike Mathis, Blaine Reichelt, and Joe Borgia. So we're set for the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks last year, 38-44, 5th in the Central Division, out of the playoffs by virtue of a tiebreaker. Dominique Wilkins missing the last 38 games after tearing his right Achilles tendon. And for those of you who may have just tuned in, as mentioned earlier, Rolando Blackman, who missed the entire preseason with the back problem, is available for tonight, and it's expected that he will make his Knick debut.
Those who got a glance at Patrick Ewing's face a moment ago saw a very serious Patrick Ewing.
The Atlanta Hawks control the tip. And this is Morton Wiley, Travis Mays, and Ewing jumps out for the steal. And that nice way for the Knicks to open up the new season.
Well, Pat Riley wanted his team to concentrate on defense for the last several days more than ever, and rebounding. But what a surprise to see Patrick Ewing begin the season that way.
Starks called for the foul.
Patrick Ewing anticipating that pass. Blair Rasmussen was not anticipating Ewing coming out and stealing that ball. As a result, by not going to receive it, Ewing gave the Knicks the lead.
Kevin Willis. And here's Wiley. Morton Wiley Tony has been around. Second-round draft pick of Dallas. Spent a year with the Mavericks, then Orlando, San Antonio, Atlanta, along with stints in the CBA. But once Mookie Blaylock is ready, it's expected that he will be the starter, and Wiley will come off the bench. Here's Tony Campbell. And rebounded by Kevin Willis, number 2 man in rebounding last season behind Detroit's Dennis Rodman.
Many people criticized Willis here because he concentrated so on rebounding, even competing with his own teammates in that department.
And a forced shot by Kevin Willis. Here's Starks. Yes, and the foul. John Starks did not start a game last season. This is only his 11th NBA start.
The Knicks want to run that ball, and they do it. Running the sideline is John Starks, finishing what looked like an awkward shot, but he made it count. John Starks is so solid going to the basket. Pat Riley wants his Knicks running as much as possible, and because of Rolando Blackman's back injury, John has been the starter throughout all of the preseason.
Foul committed by Mays. A three-point play for Starks. It's the Knicks 5 and the Hawks 2. Terrific battle between Campbell and Wilkins. Tony Campbell looking to deny the ball to Dominique Wilkins. Well, Dominique got the ball and was able to bank it home.
The Hawks have been known as a passing offense team. This year, they're going more into a setup offense, and they did that on that sequence. They want more patience in their offense.
Ewing with the drop step.
I would think if Patrick Ewing had to call for a man to play him in the opening game of the season, Blair Rasmussen might be that man. He is not a physical player. He doesn't bang underneath, and Ewing should be able to do what he wants all night.
Reach and foul called on Starks. Bad pass from Willis. Apparently that earlier Nick foul was called on Campbell. They made a change, so that was the first on Starks. Knicks 7, Hawks 4 were early moments. First quarter. Ewing trying to return it. Broken up by Wiley. Bad pass.
Patrick Ewing unselfishly giving the ball up to Oakley. However, the Hawks knew what was coming, and they deflected the pass. Next time, Ewing might throw a fake and then do something else with the ball.
Here is Rivers. Yes. So Glenn Doc Rivers connects on his first field goal attempt as a New York Knick. It's the Knicks 9 and the Hawks 4. Rasmussen. Knicks look to run. Rivers for Oakley. Yes. The Knicks 11. The Hawks 4.
Best thing Oakley did was get to the spot. He ran with the guards and got the ball.
6 unanswered points for the Knicks. Illegal defense called against the Knicks, so that is a warning. The Knicks went 6-2 in the preseason, finished up last Friday night with a victory over Philadelphia at the Nassau Coliseum. And the Hawks went 2 up and 6 down. Holding foul called on Oakley. John, Atlanta won its first 2 in preseason over Houston and Denver. Lost their last 6. Although people discount preseason play, they come in with 6 straight losses, and that's something that can have an effect.
They feel they are a better team with, of course, Wilkins back and the addition of Blaylock, who we'll see at some point soon. But this is still, by NBA standards, a team a little above mediocrity, I believe.
And the foul again called on Campbell, his second. Yes, last year the Hawks were a very poor shooting club. They are just adequate defensively. They do not have any shot blocking. And certainly they had key injuries. Dominique Wilkins out. Travis Mays missed almost the entire season, played only 2 games. And Anthony Mason getting set to come on. Here's Willis putting the move on Oakley and rebounded by Ewing. Starks operating off a high dribble against Travis Mays. Rivers for three. Rebound kept alive by Campbell. Pretty dish for Ewing. Yes, and the foul.
Well, 9 out of 10 times in Tony Campbell's career, he would have gone up with that shot. But he's very team-oriented. He's learned how to give the ball up, and he got it to Ewing, who made a very difficult shot.
Foul committed by Rasmussen. We'll be back in a moment.
Tomorrow, the Knicks and the Sixers, all fans in attendance will receive a Knicks magnetic schedule courtesy of Modell's Sporting Goods. Tickets are still available at the Garden box office and through Ticketmaster. To charge, call 212-307-7171. There are some tickets left tomorrow night.
Doug Moe and his Philadelphia 76ers coming to the Garden. Anthony Mason has come on. Patrick Ewing completing a three-point play. And the Knicks with 9 consecutive points now lead by the score of 14-4. So Mason has replaced Campbell, picked up a second foul. Starks breaking it up, and last touch by the Hawks. The Knicks opening up very sharp in terms of defensive play.
Tony Campbell had a tough job with Dominique Wilkins. Now that job falls to Anthony Mason.
Nice ball movement by the Knicks. Rivers, yes. Open shots galore here in this first quarter. And the Knicks now lead 16-4.
After 8 years here in Atlanta, Doc Rivers is very familiar with these rims and the surroundings, and he's hit a jump shot from both corners here in the first quarter.
11-0 run by the Knicks. That's a three-point attack. Travis Mays, who has the good three-point range among the leaders as a rookie while with Sacramento. Meanwhile, the Knicks unstoppable.
Doc Rivers hitting Ewing, who beat his man down court and then finished with a splendid move.
The Knicks 18 and the Hawks 7. 22nd timeout taken by Atlanta coach Bob Weiss. There's Bob in his third year as coach of the Hawks. Took over from that enormous television personality Mike Fratello. Bob Weiss, one-time coach of the San Antonio Spurs. Played 12 years in the NBA. Had his best years in Chicago. Johnny Davis to his right, one of his assistants, along with Bob Weinauer.
As I mentioned earlier, Marv, Bobby Weiss wants his team to play a little more patiently now on the offensive end of the court and not stick with that passing game, which relies heavily on good ball handling and fast motion, and unfortunately for the Hawks, rushed shots. He wants more patience out there, so they'll go to set plays more as they are right now.
13-3 run by the Knicks. Here's Wilkins, and that's a three. Dominique Wilkins hitting from downtown, and the Knicks now lead by the score of 18-10. Traveling violation called on Ewing. Patrick a little over-anxious to go baseline on Rasmussen.
Well, he feels he can do anything against Rasmussen. Shoot over him or drive around him.
Rasmussen does have the touch from outside. Recall a couple of years ago when he was with the Denver Nuggets, he hurt the Knicks in a game in Denver.
This game is very much like Bill Laimbeer's, and if you leave him open, he will hurt you.
Without the mean streak. Full pass could not be handled. Wiley and Mays in the backcourt. Wilkins, Willis, and Rasmussen up front. Anthony Mason out guarding Dominique Wilkins. Wiley just did get a piece of the netting.
Now, Doc Rivers gets credit for playing good defense because he walked away on that shot and left him wide open.
Rivers push. Basket won't count. Foul committed by Wiley. That is his first 13th foul for the Hawks. The Knicks with a front line of Ewing, Oakley, and Mason. Rivers and Starks at the guards. Ewing is hacked by Rasmussen.
That was a perfect move, Marv, for a hook shot. It's too bad Patrick Ewing doesn't use that. We've seen it throughout his career on occasion. You see, now if he rolled to a left-handed hook shot and rolled into the basket, he could draw the foul and get the shot up. He's so comfortable with the jump shot. He did succeed in drawing the foul. But I've seen Ewing do it on occasion, and he looks nice when he does it, but he just doesn't obviously feel comfortable enough to do it.
Well, John, I think you have to get back to the gym and work with him a little bit more on the hook. I know he'll be delighted to hear your advice on that move. Here comes John Konkak, replacing Blair Rasmussen. Ewing has shown the touch occasionally with a hook, but I think a little closer to the basket. Patrick Ewing averaged 20 points during the preseason, shooting 55%. Knicks had an excellent preseason. Here's Wilkins. Well, Dominic gunning from the outside, and he has been hitting. He now has 7 points. Doc Rivers, one-time Atlanta Hawk. Here's Mason. Oh, nice move by Anthony Mason. So the Knicks now lead 20-14.
What a dynamite move. And you know, he ended up shooting a two-handed layup after all that spinning. What body control he exhibited.
Willis, pretty spin by Kevin Willis. Kevin Willis missed the last 3 preseason games with a shoulder injury. Says he's all right. Oakley. Well, Charles Oakley has popped a couple of baseline jumpers. Knicks lead it by 6. 4.5 remaining in this first quarter. Oh, bad shot. But the follow is right there and the foul. Kevin Willis throwing one up in adventurous style, but able to get to the rebound and convert. And Charles Smith about to make his Knick debut. He will check in just a moment.
We now get an example of Willis's quickness. He's a 7-foot man. Not only does he get the shot up, but then he continues to compete and turn that to his advantage with great effort.
Oakley called for the foul, and he's replaced by Charles Smith. First-round pick of the Los Angeles Clippers, 1988, 3rd pick overall behind Danny Manning and Rick Smits. And acquired in the deal, along with Doc Rivers, that sent Mark Jackson to the Clippers. Now Wilkins will sit down, and he's replaced by Jeff Sanders, 4-year player from Georgia Southern. And the matchup is the 6'8" Sanders against Mason. The Knick lead is 4. Mason. And it's Charles Smith slamming it home.
Charles is here. Wasn't in the game but a half minute before he made a very exciting offensive debut as a New York Knickerbocker.
Traveling violation on Willis.
Mason going up with more confidence these days to the jump shot, and Smith right in way above the rim, and that had to make him feel real good.
The Knicks have led by as many as 12. They won on a 13-3 tear earlier this first quarter. Starts with a quick release. And a loose ball foul called on the Knicks. It's called on Smith, and here is Mookie Blaylock about to make his debut, and Rolando Blackman checking in. So Blackman will replace John Starks. The Knick debut of Blackman. Missed all of preseason. Sidelined with the spasms in his lower back. He missed only 37 games in 11 seasons in the NBA. After practicing for 3 straight days, he declared himself, as he mentioned to us earlier, ready for tonight's game.
Well, the Knicks' prayers have been answered in that he's able to play tonight after missing the entire preseason. And you mentioned, Mark, 37 games. That's over 11 seasons. And he, in recent years, has led his team, Dallas Mavs, in scoring each year. And this is a very big moment for Orlando.
Sanders called for the foul. Pat Riley now has a backcourt of Blackman and Rivers. Ewing is up front with Smith. And Ewing, I should say Ewing is up front along with Smith and Mason. So Rolando Blackman to the line with Atlanta over the foul limit. And Rolando over the years has been a very solid free throw shooter, in particular down the stretch. The Knicks lead 26-19, 3.5 remaining in this first quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres from the Omni in Atlanta. Mays getting it to Willis. And Kevin Willis off the good setup now has 7 points.
Knicks double teaming the ball, got burned. That's what happens many times when you put too many men on one man. The open man is found.
Blackman a bit over anxious, looking for the shot, called for the travel. The one-time New Jersey net, Mookie Blaylock, acquired earlier this week, and the deal for Ramil Robinson. He averaged just under 14 points per game last season. Blaylock's pass knocked away by Rivers, and a timeout being taken by the Knicks. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first. The Knicks lead by 5.
Good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. By golly, there's Air Harry.
That's the newest Atlanta Hawk, standing, we're told, 17 feet tall, 10 feet wide, has a vertical leap of 84 feet. Air Harry unveiled during the pregame festivities. There could be a little controversy here. Will Air Harry replace Atlanta's favorite mascot, Harry the Hawk?
I don't know. Harry looked very sharp flying through the air with the greatest of ease, Marv.
Just under 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Mason getting to the rebound. Knicks lead 26-21. Opening night in the NBA from the Omni in Atlanta.
Back up a little bit, dog. Back up.
And Riley seeking more ball movement. Rivers tied up, able to recover. Shot clock is down to 7. 2 on the 24. And this is Paul Snoop Graham for Travis Mays. Snoop in his second year out of Ohio University. And we get the whistle on the inbounds. Offensive foul. It's on Ewing trying to set up. Atlanta now with a backcourt of Graham and Blaylock. Knicks have hit 11 of 15 from the field. Good shooting first quarter all around. Hawks 9 of 14. Kevin Willis and Patrick Ewing on the rebound. He's tripped up by John Koncak.
Impressive rebound by Ewing in a lot of traffic. Willis going to that comfortable move for him, but Ewing grabbing that ball in heavy traffic, bumped by Koncak.
With Atlanta over the limit, Ewing to the line. He's 1 of 3 from the line. He's the high man with 9. Wilkins and Willis leading Atlanta with 7 apiece.
Patrick, a 74% shooter from the foul line last season.
Dominique Wilkins for Kevin Willis.
How about those biceps on Willis? He's now bench pressing close to 400 pounds. I asked him before the game how he could ever have hurt his shoulder with that kind of strength. And guess who did it to him? Xavier McDaniel of the Boston Celtics.
Knicks lead at 27-21. Here's Wilkins for 3. Dominique continuing to pop from the outside. Blackman, yes.
Oh, does he love it? His first jump shot wearing a Knicks uniform.
Second field goal. He has 4. Knicks lead 29-21. Minute and a half to go in this first quarter. Rolando Blackman has that beautiful looking jump shot. Here's Wilkins. 9 points for Dominique Wilkins. Last December the 7th, Dominique had his regular season high game against the Knicks, 52 points. Wilkins had that block. Here's Smith inside.
Beautiful sequence. Patrick Ewing finding Charles Smith. What a combination they can be.
Knicks by 8, 1 minute remaining first quarter. Smith with the hands all over Sanders, called for the foul. That's the second committed by Charles Smith.
Take another look at the move by Ewing, going in, drawing all kinds of traffic, and then seeing Smith wide open. Smith elects to fake contact out, go away from all that turbulence, and make that shot off the backboard.
And Greg Anthony has come on for the first time, replacing Doc Rivers.
Well, the problem for the Hawks, or the problem for the Knicks regarding the Hawks, has been identified early, and predictably it's Dominique Wilkins who's hitting that jump shot and creating all kinds of problems for the Knicks. First start the game out, Tony Campbell was guarding him. Now Mason in, and Dominique still has the touch.
Knicks lead it by 7. Notice a new number for Greg Anthony, wearing number 50. Number 2 last year. Wanted to switch to his college number. Steal by Sanders. Here's Graham. And a kick ball has been called. So they reset to a 24 seconds. Do you know the last Knick to wear number 50, John?
No.
Joe C. Merriweather. Early 80s.
Great shot blocker. Still in the record book, I believe.
Graham not able to hit. Smith rebounding under pressure. Half minute to go in this opening quarter. Here's Blackman, rejected by Blaylock. Blaylock with the block. Dominique Wilkins. Bad play by Dominique. And Blaine Reichelt calling a loose ball foul on Smith. That's number 3 for Charles.
Well, what set that up, Blaylock coming in and getting that ball. He's 6'2", Blackman 6'6", and Blaylock timed his block perfectly. Fine play.
19 seconds remaining in this opening quarter, and Tony Campbell will replace Charles Smith. So Charles picking up a quick 3 personals in this first quarter, and he will sit down. Paul Snoopy Graham on the line. Very unorthodox playground style player, which has added to his popularity. He averaged 10 points a game. Pleasant surprise last year as an NBA rookie.
As we just showed, 14 against the Knicks. He hurt the Knicks badly last season. He has an uncanny knack of where that ball is going to be on offense when it comes off the board. Great feel for the game. Listed as a forward, but tonight he's been playing at the 2-guard position a bit.
Illegal defense call.
Illegal defense in the last 24 seconds.
And Blackman will shoot the technical. The illegal defense call in the last 24 seconds of a quarter is a technical foul. The Knicks 32 and the Hawks 26. 10 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Down to 5. Anthony. So that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Knicks 32 and the Hawks 26.
Great teamwork moment is brought to you by the team of Canon Technology and MCS Service. One is a great reason to buy the other. Charles Smith and Patrick Ewing moments ago gave evidence of great teamwork. Ewing worked down the middle, caught a lot of traffic in his way, and gave the ball up to Smith, who with a nice fake finished off with 2 points.
And it's on to the second quarter here at the Omni. The Knicks with a 32-26 lead on Atlanta. They led by as many as 12. They had a 13-3 run at one stretch in the first quarter. Here's Campbell. Yes. Tony Campbell connecting, extending to an 8-point lead Campbell's first field goal. Good shooting first quarter. Knicks 13 of 19 from the floor, and the Hawks picked it up after the slow start. They went 10 of 19. Wilkins rebounded by Ewing. Dominique has been all outside shot. I wonder, does that tell us something about coming back from the Achilles tendon injury?
Marv, I'd like to point out they've all been going in till then. So,
well, I'm not quarreling with that, but you don't want him shooting from the outside.
There you go. He was driving there a bit. But I think that's part of their set offense, Marv, and he's been the beneficiary of the passing as they've tried to put more control into their offense.
Anthony rejected. Wilkins with his first stuff of the game. That off the well-executed fast break.
Well, Tony Campbell's job is to stay in his way, and Wilkins is off to a great start in this game.
Atlanta by 6 points, or rather the Knicks by 6. Wilkins has 11. And a foul called on the Hawks.
Moments ago, the Hawks with fine defensive denial moved the ball up quickly. Paul Graham handling the ball like a guard, and Dominique getting closer to that 20,000 mark.
Foul committed by Graham. Charles Oakley has returned. Oakley up front, along with Mason and Campbell. And Blackman has the touch. 7 points. That's his second jump shot. Knicks lead 36-28. Minute and 40 gone by in the second quarter. Wilkins trying to do it here off the dribble. Played well by Campbell. Blaylock. So Mookie Blaylock from the outside with his first bucket as a Hawk.
Blaylock certainly didn't take long to learn the plays, did he, Marv? A refrain we often hear. How long will a player take to learn the plays?
Next by 6. Mason called for the offensive foul. Attempting to get position on Jeff Sanders.
Mason down low, feels he can beat any small forward in the league, so he wants to stay with the move, and he does, a little too much so.
Blaylock being guarded by Anthony. Wilkins spinning inside. Rebound Wilkins. And now Dominique looking a bit more active, going for the drive.
He's a little taller than Campbell, and he's using all of that height to his advantage.
And Tony Campbell right back. The Knicks 38 and the Hawks 32. Tony Campbell in his 9th season out of Ohio State. 3 years with Detroit, 2 with the Lakers, 3 with Minnesota. Last year averaged just under 17 per game, leading the Timberwolves in scoring. Oakley, he's showing confidence with the outside shot. He's hit 3 jump shots here in the first half, 2 from that side and 1 from the near side.
The interesting thing is he's getting the ball after some passing. He's not rushing his shot. He's just getting the ball in the flow of the offense, and it's working out well.
Graham with a force. And Adam Keefe, who had just checked in, not able to hit. Keefe, the rookie from Stanford, #1 draft pick. Hawks took some heat in passing on Harold Miner in favor of Adam Keefe. Keefe did not play at all during preseason. Hit by injury, had a pulled hamstring. Oakley with the tip. And a loose ball foul charged to Atlanta. Here's John Starks checking back in for Rolando Blackman. Adam Keefe called for that foul.
A very difficult job for Keefe as we look at the excited Rolando Blackman coming back to the Knicks bench. He has to be excited not only to be here tonight, but he played very well.
Yes, Blackman with 7 points. A question mark coming into tonight off the back injury. Campbell. Oakley with the rebound. Mason played by Keefe. Mason stopped. Good block by Sanders. And the save by Willis. Here's Graham from Blaylock. The Knicks lead 40-34. Starks on the recovery. and it's called Atlanta ball.
This man has added an awful lot to this team, and he joined them on Tuesday. Blaylock's doing an excellent job.
Mookie did not take part in the first couple of practice sessions. He did work lightly with the Hawks yesterday. He was looking for his contract to be restructured. Blaylock getting to the rebound and lost control. Oakley diving for it. Was recovered by Keith. Willis bringing the Hawks within 4. And Pat Riley upset. He's looking for a timeout. 7:09 remaining. In this first half, the Knicks have led by as many as tomorrow at 7 p.m. John, that's Eastern time. On MSG2, the New York Rangers on the road taking on the Boston Bruins. Right here on MSG Network, the best in the game. On the subject of hockey, there's Stacey Augmon, who is out after undergoing arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. He'll be out at least 2 more weeks.
What a terrific rookie season he had. Made the all-rookie team's second leading scorer on the Hawks last year without a jump shot.
The Knick lead is down to 4. Rivers felt that he got racked up as he was stripped. And Sanders called for a traveling violation.
Not a good pass by Patrick Ewing either.
Jeff Sanders, a player who had a look in the Knick camp a couple of years back. He's been all around after being taken on the first round by the Chicago Bulls in '89. Broke his foot preseason. Dealt to Miami, then CBA, Charlotte, Knicks with a look at him, as I said, and this is the second season with Atlanta. Foul again called on the rookie from Stanford, Adam Keefe. That is his second foul.
He rocked Tony Campbell. Campbell ended up under the basket holding his mouth, and Keefe ran over to him to apologize.
Adam Keefe averaged 25 points, 12 rebounds as a senior at Stanford. Led the Pac-10 in rebounding. Ewing is hit by Sanders. Jeff Sanders called for his second, and Patrick Ewing, struggling at the line, will shoot 2 more. Ewing is 2 of 5 from the free throw line.
You look at the relative reputation power, so to speak, Marv, of both teams, and I must say I'm very impressed with how the Hawks are playing the Knicks. This is a team that came into tonight's game without a point guard until Mookie Blaylock, who they acquired early this week, entered the game. And Dominique Wilkins, the big question mark, has come back very strong.
And Mookie hears it from the crowd. Nice debut as Marlon Wiley makes his return, replacing Blaylock. The Knicks 42, the Hawks 38. 6.5 remaining in this first half. Sanders with a 4 shot. Jeff Sanders goes 6'8", has about an inch on Tony Campbell, and was able to extend for the shot. Patrick Ewing got the position, could not hit, and it's rebounded by Keefe. Willis for Keefe. And the foul is called. It's a hold on Ewing. Well, the fake by Keefe led to that foul.
Nice move by the 6'9" burly Keefe.
Burly, huh?
Yes, very much so. But for him to put the ball on the floor and draw the foul has to be a very uplifting moment, putting Ewing into that foul situation.
Keefe tried to give and go, and it did not work. Campbell slicing through, and he's fouled. It's called on Wiley. That is the second on Wiley. Getting back to the subject of Mookie Blaylock, who was acquired in the deal for Ramil Robinson. Robinson demonstrated clearly that he is not an NBA point guard. And I'd have to say a shoot-first attitude, and also committed a turnover about every 10 minutes. Just did not work out here in Atlanta for Ramil Robinson. And the trade was made, and Mookie Blaylock should fit in very well here, and probably delighted to get out of New Jersey, because it has been established that Kenny Anderson is the man at point guard, with Chuck Daly coming in.
Well, the Nets made a very big financial investment in Kenny Anderson despite his season last year, and they have to collect on it. And they committed themselves to doing it.
Traveling violation. And it will be the Nets and the Knicks at Madison Square Garden on Tuesday night, and signs of a true rivalry heating up between those two clubs.
Back to Ramil, but Chuck Daly sees a Vinnie Johnson quality in Robinson. That's what he's going to try and draw out of his talents.
Hawks going to the double team on Ewing. Mason. Power move by Anthony Mason, and he drew the foul.
Mason had a tremendous preseason, second leading Knicks scorer at over 16 a game. But tonight, Marv, I think he's been shaken up a bit as far as his own presence on the court. He's had difficulty with taller people. He hasn't found it easy getting his shots off. He's had people succeed shooting over him. And I think he's must be a little disappointed here in the first half.
Dominique Wilkins called for the foul, putting Mason at the line. Here's Blair Rasmussen for the rookie Adam Keefe. And the hand for Keefe. Anthony Mason averaging just under 16 per game in the preseason, and he shot 67%, showing signs of improvement with that mid-range jump shot.
Now he's been given a tough job of the 7-foot Kevin Willis.
Dominique Wilkins felt that he was fouled. No call. Dominique has 15, and for the most part, he has done it from the outside. The Knicks lead is 4, just under 5 minutes to go. First half, Patrick Ewing. 14 for Ewing to lead the Knicks.
Fine speed demonstrated by Ewing in that jump shot. Before the help could get there, he was off and running.
Prior to that field goal by Ewing, the Knicks went about 4 minutes without a field goal. There's Willis. Shot clock at 3. Campbell with the steal. And he stepped out. The Knicks felt he was fouled. And Pat Riley walked the sideline and is warned by the official, Blaine Reichelt. Here's another look at it.
Doc Rivers very important in getting that ball loose, and Campbell quick to the loose ball. But the official saw him on the sideline.
Well, now there may be a conference concerning the possibility that the Hawks should be charged with a 24-second violation, that perhaps Campbell did not have possession. The shot clock was running down, and that ball may have still been considered loose as Campbell and Wilkins were chasing it.
Knicks don't get possession. Very tough determination now.
Shot clock still showing 5 seconds remaining, so the Hawks are able to get it back. Shot clock down to 1. Travis Mays nearly hit with that forced three-pointer. And a holding foul is called on Rasmussen. Opening night of the Omni in Atlanta, one of 11 NBA games on the schedule. The Knicks and the Hawks with 4:21 to go in this first half. The Knicks lead by 6. They led by as many as 12. They had that good run in the first quarter. And Patrick Ewing has regained the touch at the line. Here's contact for Rasmussen. Blair Rasmussen sitting down with 3 personal fouls.
Knicks have been to the line now for 17 foul shots here in the first half.
16 for Patrick Ewing. The Knicks lead 48-40. Wilkins picked up on a double team. Wilkins, Konchak, and Willis up front, and Kevin Willis shows the touch. Last year he averaged 15.5 rebounds per game, averaged 18 points per game, well above his average in both departments. Starks Nice look-away pass. Campbell gets inside.
Oh, he had to go over the 7-foot contact, and he found the way. Bob, the Knicks really missed Charles Smith now, who got 3 fouls in the first quarter, because this matchup of Mason and Willis is hurting the Knicks.
Tony Campbell has played well. He has 7 points. Charles Oakley is getting set to return. 3.5 remaining in the first half. And a kneeing foul has been called. It's on Mason. Mason called for his second. He will sit down. Leaves with 3 points. Willis. Well, Kevin Willis has 13 points. Dominique Wilkins, the high man for Atlanta, with 15. Patrick Ewing leads the Knicks with 16. Campbell won't count. Traveling violation.
Willis hasn't felt a Knick player on him when he's shooting his shots in close. That's because he's so quick. And a man with his size at 7 feet is very difficult. So Charles Oakley now, with more height than Mason, is going to have to let Willis know if someone's around, bang him a little bit, and that's Charles's game.
Oakley fell in front, and the gamble did not pay off. Travis Mays delivering to Kevin Willis. The Knick lead is down to 4.
See, in this matchup, the reason the Knicks on paper are stronger this year is because of Charles Smith, but Pat Riley can't come back to him as he already has the 3 fouls.
And the foul is called on Tomcat. Timeout has been called with 2 minutes and 41 seconds to go.
Well, we welcome our Dutch boy in the paint numbers this season. The Knicks now with 18 rebounds, owning the boards thus far. The Hawks competing, though, and they're making their rebounds hurt the Knicks. We look at Charles Oakley just in the game to spell Mason. Tries to go for the steal, but the pass is so on target that Willis gets loose for that slam dunk.
Coming up on 2.5 remaining in the first half. The Knicks lead the Hawks 50-46. Shot clock running down. Contact with the rebound. Hayes played by Starks, and he's called for a traveling violation.
He lifted the pivot foot, Marv.
Tomorrow night, the Hawks will play at Chicago. Start of a 4-game road trip. Bulls will receive their championship rings before the game. Not a look out. Thank you, John. Not a wonderful setting for the opposing team. The Atlanta Hawks. Bulls gunning for a 3rd straight championship.
You know, I just saved you, excuse me, from the basketball slamming you in the face.
Yes, it was very kind of you.
I would appreciate it, thank you.
I would have deflected it away. Contact keeps it alive. Wiley, guarded by Rivers. And Wiley is hit by Doc Rivers. That is his first. Tomorrow night, the home opener for the New York Knicks at the Garden to face the Philadelphia 76ers. And you'll see it right here on MSG, starting with Knicks game night at 7 p.m. And we're told there are a limited supply of tickets still available. Dominique Wilkins forcing it up with the shot clock running down. Campbell looking for the shot, then changed his mind. Ewing rebounded by Contact. One minute remaining in this first half. Crowd wanted Contact to shoot. Nice move by Dominique Wilkins.
Dynamite move. He just waltzed right around Tony Campbell for that layup.
Dominique has 17. The Knicks lead is down to 2. Campbell in the crowd had it knocked away. It will be Knick ball. The Knicks have led most of the way. And they've led by as many as 12. Kevin Willis tying up Blaine Reichelt as the foul was called. It's called on Willis.
Blaine almost became part of a fast break.
Yes.
Against his wishes. I'm very impressed, Marv, with Travis Mays' defense. He came into the NBA from Texas with a strong reputation in that department, but he's very impressive to watch defensively, number one here, because he can move those feet quickly.
He's had the 2 injury-hit seasons, played only 2 games last year, needed surgery to repair ruptured ankle tendons. Says the ankles have responded well. Ewing sitting down. Mason returns. Patrick Ewing leading the Knicks with 16, 5 of 9 from the field, 6 of 9 from the line. Knicks by 3 with 35 seconds remaining in the half.
Pat Riley has played 9 of his 12-man roster here in the first half.
Wilkins from deep. Riley with the interception. So the Hawks can set up for a final possession. That's time remaining in the half, down to 10 seconds. Come on. Yes. And Mike Mathis makes the call away from the ball. It's a foul on Travis Mays. The Knicks will get it back with 7 seconds left in the half. Illegal pick set by Mays. Nick bench counting it out, but a foul was called. Not a good foul by Willis. That is his second foul. The Hawks over the limit. We're down to 3 4/10 seconds to go in the half, and it puts the Knicks back at the line.
The story of this half offensively for both teams is big people. Dominique Wilkins and Kevin Willis combining for 32 of the Hawks' 48 points. Patrick Ewing, 16 of the Knicks' 51. Those are the only players in double figures.
Doc Rivers, longtime member of the Atlanta Hawks before being dealt to the Los Angeles Clippers. Spent 8 years with Atlanta. And then last year with the Clippers. Knicks lead 53-48. Final seconds. Koncak unleashing. Broken up by Campbell. Here's Starks from center court. So that's the end of the half here at the Omni in Atlanta. With the score, the Knicks 53 and the Hawks 48. Coming up, Mike Crispino at the MSG Sports Desk. So stay with us. We'll be back with more. But right here we'll pause for these messages. In Atlanta, as we are moving in the direction of the start of the third quarter, look at some of the close-up stats. Both clubs shot well in the first half. Knicks 53%, 19 for 36. Atlanta 21 of 41.
Knicks certainly getting a lot of foul shots for a road team. And doing a decent job on the boards. But I think the Hawks have stepped it up. They played much better than I think people would have expected against this new Knicks team.
And a good first half for Dominique Wilkins, 8 of 14, 17 points. He is now only 8 points shy of becoming the 17th player in NBA history to hit the 20,000-point plateau. And that a subject that John discussed with Dominique prior to tonight's game.
I feel great about it, but I'm trying not to think about it too much because I don't want to shut my game in and just come out, just play and let the game come to me. But when I achieve that, it'll be a nice touch to my career. It's very few guys have been there, so it's special.
And Dominique also on the trail of supplanting Bob Pettit as the Hawk franchise all-time leading scorer going into tonight, 906 points away, so we know he will not do that tonight, John, but he will hit the 20,000-point plateau. Bob Pettit's number 9 jersey hanging from the rafters here at the Omni.
I met Bob Pettit a couple of weeks ago, Marv, at a downtown athletic club dinner. He was honored, and he told me he's been to 3 pro games since his career ended. I mean, Bob has lost touch.
Really? I've seen him at some college games, actually, at LSU, his alma mater, but
he still looks great, though.
Think of Bob Pettit playing with the fact that he had the cast, because he's still wearing the cast that he was known for. All right, here's Campbell as we get underway in the third quarter. Remember the wicked playoff series between the St. Louis Hawks and the Boston Celtics, and the toughness of Pettit playing with the broken arm right throughout, playing with a cast. The Knicks with a 53-48 lead on the Hawks. And the outside official, Joe Borger, calling the foul. It's on Wilkins. That is his second. The Knicks open up the second half with Rivers and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing, Campbell, and Oakley up front. This is the lineup that started the game. Campbell played by Wilkins. Rivers. And Ewing putting the move on Rasmussen. Rebounded by Willis.
Pat Riley put such importance on defensive sacrifice, and he saw that with Charles Oakley drawing that last foul from Wilkins.
Willis tried to change his mind. Starks. Nice move by John Starks. So the Knicks now lead 55-48. Orland Wiley, Travis Mays in the backcourt, Larry Rasmussen at center, and Dominique Wilkins and Kevin Willis are up front.
Fine play by Campbell, denying that pass to the cutting Dominique.
Atlanta with 9 on the 24. Willis off the double team.
Nice job by Starks coming in, making that shot difficult. Willis still went with it, though.
And Willis getting inside, and he was fouled.
See, what will make the Knicks coaching staff unhappy as this happened right in front of the Knicks bench is that there wasn't a body on Willis. Oakley was standing right next to him, and in a jumping contest with any of the Knicks, Willis will win unless somebody is leaning on him.
Foul called on Rivers, his second. We are early third quarter. And Ewing not able to hit, but it's tipped home by Oakley. 8 points for Charles Oakley. Knicks 57 and the Atlanta Hawks 48. Kneeing foul called on Campbell. That is his third foul.
You know, Pat Riley wants to go to Charles Smith, but he's got to temper that judgment because of Smith's 3 fouls early in the game.
Here's Wilkins.
Well, the job of Campbell is going to try and have to be to keep the ball away from Dominique, and thus far that hasn't worked except for a play moments ago. When Dominique gets the ball, he seems to be unstoppable against Campbell.
19 points for Wilkins. Starks, yes. 8 points for Starks. The Knicks 59 and the Hawks 50. Crowd of 16,389 on hand here at the Omni. That is just short of a sellout. Bad shot selection by Kevin Willis, although he thought it was foul. Rivers lost it. Recovered by Starks, and he was held by Mays.
Rivers made a fine recovery after he began to lose that ball. Knicks were fortunate to get something positive out of that.
Tony Campbell checking with Pat Riley at the Knicks bench, calling out a set play. And there it is, Campbell on the beautiful bounce pass from Oakley. Well, the Knicks executing, I guess, play number 5, John, to perfection.
5 up is what we heard from Pat Riley.
11 o'clock, catch the MSG Sports Desk special half-hour edition, all the local and national sports news and highlights, including a regular Friday night feature. Lawrence Taylor chatting with Harry Carson. That's tonight at 11 here on MSG. The Knicks with an 8-2 run opening up this third quarter. Oakley called for the foul, his third. The Knicks 61 of the Hawks 50.
Knicks going with their starting lineup right now.
Wiley for three. Moreland Wiley hitting the three-pointer. The Knicks now lead 61-53. Ewing, yes. Patrick Ewing has 18.
Doc Rivers very content to dish that ball up to shooters, and he got a nice one to Ewing there. Ewing hitting at good range.
Here's Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins has 21. He's now 4 points away from the 20,000 career mark. Ewing, yes, but it won't count. Offensive foul on Ewing. That's his third personal.
Patrick made up his mind to go once he got control of the ball, and he stayed with it. Rasmussen gets in his way, moves his feet, and Ewing goes into him before he shoots that ball.
The Knicks by 8, 7:45 to go, third quarter. Willis. He was tripped up. And Ewing called for the foul. That is his fourth. And that brings Charles Smith off the bench.
Pat Riley has lost the luxury of time now with Ewing getting 4. Smith has to come in. Smith already has 3 himself after limited play in the first half. Only 4 minutes of play in the first half for Charles Smith.
So we'll see Charles Smith operating at center. Anthony Mason also checking in. Campbell and Ewing depart. 9 points for Campbell, 18 for Ewing.
Well, this is a depth check for the Knicks now. They need Charles Smith to shine.
The Knicks with a 7-point lead, 63. Now they turn the scoreboard wrong, making a 6-point lead, 63-57. Rivers with a pretty feed for Oakley. The Knicks 65, the Hawks 57. Wilkins and Smith with the rebound. Here's Smith. Rivers, he backed into three-point territory.
Meanwhile, Charles Oakley gave up the ball when he was under the basket with the basketball.
Mays, strong move by Travis Mays to cut that Knick lead down to 6. Smith being played by Rasmussen. Smith willing in. So Charles Smith with 6 points, giving the Knicks a 67-59 advantage.
Charles has such a soft touch on those shots. In close, they're difficult like that, too, when you don't have the backboard working for you.
And the call away from the ball against Wiley, who was looking for position on Rivers. Substitutions, Mookie Blaylock, Adam Keefe. Check back in. Blair Rasmussen and Moreland Wiley will sit down. The Knicks now have Rivers and Starks in the backcourt. Oakley up front, along with Smith and Mason.
Knicks trying to set up Mason down low with Wilkins on him.
Oakley set the pick, and Rivers, well, he lost the handle. Mason is right there. Well-executed play, and it set Rivers up for the drive, but he lost the grip.
Excellent job by Mason beating the quick Kevin Willis to the ball.
The Knicks extend to a 10-point lead. And it's a Hawk turnover.
This is where the importance of team defense steps in at this point in the game. This is where the Knicks have to rise their level of intensity defensively, which can be there every night, and they seem to be doing it.
And last year, the Knicks allowed only 97 points per game. That's the second lowest in the NBA to Detroit. Mason. Well, he had the good position. Here comes Blaylock for Keith.
Done by Blaylock, patiently waiting, keeping that head up, waiting for the cutter. The rookie Keith finishing it off.
Knicks lead 69-61 as we come up on 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Blaylock saw that coming, but Mason fortunate to recover. Shot clock at 3. Down to 2. Starks. Yes, a three-pointer for John Starks with the shot clock running down.
Such a big shot. Starks has been slow getting into this game offensively. Only one field goal in the first half, but he's catching fire now.
Yes, Starks with 11 points, 7 of the 11 here in the third. They isolated for Willis. They wanted him one-on-one with Smith, and that's what they were looking for, as Charles Smith has picked up another foul. That is his fourth. Right here, let's go to Mike Crispino for this MSG Sports Desk update.
Marvin, Orlando, you're wondering what Shaquille O'Neal's going to do in the NBA. Well, here's a good example of it right here. Yeah, he can rebound, and he can dribble, and he can drive, and you know how he finishes it off. O'Neal, 8 points, 10 rebounds. They trail by 4 in the third.
Thank you, Mike. Kevin Willis at the free throw line, fouled by Charles Smith. Willis hit the first. Wayne Farrell has come on for the first time for the Hawks. So Bob Weiss has used his entire roster. He has now used 11 players. Stacey Augmon is sitting it out after undergoing arthroscopic knee surgery. Smith. Charles Smith to the fadeaway, giving the Knicks a 74-62 lead as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in the third.
Why Smith is so tough. He goes to the inside move after the fake. Then he has the option and the ability to make the fadeaway.
Willis under pressure was fouled. And again, it is Smith. So that's number 5 on Smith. Patrick Ewing sitting down after picking up his fourth.
Oh, here's Charles Smith on offense moments ago, hitting that beautiful jump shot of his. But unfortunately for Charles and the Knicks, he continues to pile up the fouls.
Timeout taken by the Knicks. 4:01 left in the third, and the Knicks have an 11-point lead. Nick bench counting out the time remaining on the 24. Campbell getting inside with 3 on the shot clock.
Fine delivery by Charles Oakley, and Campbell with his second left-handed field goal tonight.
And this represents the biggest lead of the night. The Knicks by 13. Been a very solid all-around performance for Charles Oakley. Willis getting in.
Oh, I thought he got away with a skip as he moved in close.
Kevin Willis has 21. The Knicks 76. The Hawks 65. 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres from the Omni in Atlanta. They're just shy of a capacity crowd. Better than 16,000 on hand. Here's Paul Snoop Graham for Travis Mays. Mays with only 5 points. Anthony for Oakley. Rebounded by Keith. Picked off by Oakley. Oh, what a move by Mason. Although he missed on the stuff. Terrific move off the dribble, and it was fouled by Blaylock.
Change of pace is so beautiful to observe, and this is Mason changing pace, faking out the man on the left, going in for that shot. He wanted to slam it down and make it glorious, but at least he came out of it with the foul. He handles the ball so well. One day he'd like to be a point guard, he announced recently.
Here's Dominique Wilkins making his return. Rolando Blackman is back. replacing John Starks, instrumental in the Knicks' good play here in the third quarter. 7 of his 11 points coming in the third. So Blackman and Anthony in the backcourt for the Knicks. Greg Anthony playing despite the fact that he has been bothered by a sore left hand, a sprained right ankle. He's been beaten up physically in the preseason.
Pat Riley loves to refer to players as warriors. He is getting that quality from Greg Anthony tonight.
Knicks by 13. Air ball. And here comes Anthony. Anthony around Blaylock. And it was last touched by Campbell. A minute 10 remaining in the third quarter. The Knicks have their biggest lead of the night, a margin of 13. And they've hung in despite the fact that Patrick Ewing has been on the bench after picking up his 4th foul. Graham blew an easy one. Campbell from Anthony. The Knicks 80 and the Hawks 65.
Bill Marv, the score is 17-8 since Patrick Ewing left the game in favor of the Knicks. The Knicks are doing well despite the fact they can't use Ewing, or they haven't been since the foul trouble.
Oh, what a move end to end by Greg Anthony. The Knicks lead by 17 as they have been able to break it open here in the third quarter. Only 15 seconds to go in the quarter.
It's 19-8 without Ewing.
Blaylock setting up against Anthony. Final seconds of the quarter. Here's Farrell. And they'll score it. It's a goaltend. The basket counts at the buzzer.
What an effort by Oakley.
After 3 quarters, here at the Omni, the Knicks 82, the Hawks 67.
7:30 left in the third. Charles Smith was already in foul trouble. And the Knicks turn around and put on a 19-10 spurt to finish the third quarter with Patrick Ewing on the bench. And so much has been written and talked about the depth of the Knicks team this year with their added personnel. And we see here in the first game of the season a demonstration of that depth as the Knicks got it.
And the Knicks outscored the Hawks 29-19 in the third quarter. They have their biggest lead of the night, a margin of 15, 82-67. Well, John, this program is authorized, as you well know, by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated, solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated is prohibited. Fourth quarter underway. Campbell got a piece of it. Farrell with the recovery. Wayne Farrell in his 5th year out of Georgia Tech. Last season his best in the NBA, averaged just under 13 per game. Did not play at all in the first half, getting into the action late in the third quarter. Blackman off the dribble. Blackman. And last touch by the Knicks.
Unusual shot by Blackman. He forced it.
Mookie Blaylock operating at the point guard position. This was Farrell. Willis. Blaylock had it knocked away by Anthony, but a foul call. Mike Mathis with the call on Anthony. The Hawks with Willis, Wilkins, and Farrell up front. Graham and Blaylock in the backcourt. And Dominique Wilkins being guarded by Anthony Mason. Wilkins with the scoop. Oh, what a shot by Dominique Wilkins. He now has 23 points.
Make that flying scoop, Marv.
82-71. Knicks with the lead. Mason, yes. 9 for Mason. And the Knicks now lead it 84-71. Here's Graham.
Curtis Bunn of Newsday wrote an in-depth prediction on the Knicks' ability to present several lineups. Well, we're looking at a short lineup for the Knicks now. Charles Oakley as the center with Mason out there and Campbell. One of the many personalities the Knicks will present this year.
Foul committed by Willis. His third. Yes, Pat Riley does have much flexibility with this current roster. He has gone 9 deep tonight with the addition of Rolando Blackman. So the rookie from North Carolina who had such an excellent preseason, Hubert Davis, has not seen any action. Neither has Bo Kimball or the 12th man on the squad out of Indiana, Eric Anderson. The Knicks 85 and the Hawks 73. Minute and 40 gone by in the fourth quarter. Wilkins, and it's slammed home by Willis, who also inadvertently slammed his head on the recoil with Charles Oakley. Oakley took a shot on the far. Oh, he's bleeding, and a timeout has been called. An accidental move as Kevin Willis was able to slam it home. Here's another look, the miss by Wilkins, and watch the aftermath to the shot.
Willis comes down.
Oh.
And looks like a headbutt on Charles Oakley.
And I believe Charles will head back to the Knick locker room. Mike Saunders, the Knick trainer. Tim Walsh chatting with Charles.
Teams are now allowed a new rule in the NBA approved by the Board of Governors to call a timeout immediately when a player bleeds on the court to take care of the situation, and that's precisely what happened. And Charles will leave the game now until that bleeding is stopped.
Yes, this in response to Magic Johnson's positive test for HIV, the league adopting the rule that officials are to stop a game at the earliest appropriate time whenever a player has a bleeding wound and remove him from the game. But you just saw the immediate timeout, and Charles headed back to the locker room. He took a shot. It was accidental. Kevin Willis on the follow-through after he was able to stuff it, made contact.
It's a butt similar to what you see when you announce boxing events, Marv. That tissue around the eye is tissue thin. Boy, it opens up quickly.
And the Atlanta trainer, Joe O'Toole, is wiping off the blood that fell from Charles Oakley at the Atlanta end of the floor. That's Joe O'Toole.
Mike Saunders of the Knicks going to the sanitary gloves he's bringing out for Joe O'Toole, or using himself, actually, that he's disposed of.
All right, play resuming. 2 minutes have gone by. In this fourth quarter, the Knicks by 10. Patrick Ewing back in there. And Blaylock with the rebound. Ewing now up front with Campbell and Mason, Blackman and Anthony in the backcourt. So Ewing is playing with 4 fouls. One of the schoolyard moves of Paul Graham.
Not a classic shooter, but he and the basket have a very fine relationship.
Knicks with an 8-point lead. They've led by as many as 17. Here's Ewing. Patrick Ewing coming off the bench, missing on his first 2 attempts. Blair Rasmussen replacing Kevin Willis. Well, Kevin Willis came out of that collision unharmed. Charles Oakley back in the dressing room. It's been an excellent all-around game for the Knicks' new co-captain, Charles Oakley.
Meanwhile, the Hawks are catching fire now, enjoying a 12-3 run. Make that 14.
And make that 20,000 points for Dominique Wilkins. He has 25 for the game. And Dominique, hearing it from the crowd, the 17th player in NBA history to hit the 20,000 point mark. And he is receiving a standing ovation. Dominique Wilkins in his 11th NBA season with the Hawks out of the University of Georgia, making it back from the torn right Achilles tendon injury. Missed the last 38 games last year and has come back strong here on opening night.
And it's so appropriate. The acrobatic Dominique Wilkins should hit this big moment in his career with such a shot, such a difficult shot. And it's hard for him to enjoy the moment now. The Hawks are coming back and they're fighting hard, and it's hard for him to smile, and he didn't.
And he coolly completed the three-point play by connecting with the free throw, and he's cut that Knicks lead to 5. Campbell, not a good shot. That's one out of the Minnesota T-Wolves repertoire for Tony Campbell.
Running back up court, Patrick Ewing gave him a note of encouragement, a couple of words to, I would assume, be more patient.
Rasmussen. And the Knicks lead has been trimmed to 3. The Knicks will talk it over.
Remember, when you're having good times with friends, use good sense and drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. Dominique Wilkins moments ago carving his way into NBA history in his special way. A flying one-handed shot that made 20,000 in his career.
And the Hawks have opened up on fire, 7 of 8 from the field. They are in the midst of a 17-3 run. They've outscored the Knicks in this fourth quarter 15-3. And they have cut that big Knick lead once at 17 down to 3 points.
Pat Riley expressing his displeasure at the Knicks defense. Accused his team of backing up on defense on the Hawks as they come down and become so successful here in these moments.
John Starks has returned. Ewing drawing the double team. Shot clock at 7. Rivers. Oh, what a shot by Doc Rivers. The Knicks 87, the Hawks 82. Rivers has 8 points. Dominique Wilkins guarded by Anthony Mason. Closed the baseline effectively, but Dominique still able to hit.
Just a great shot. Mason played him well.
The Knicks by 3, just under 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Opening night of the NBA. The Knicks and the Hawks here at the Omni in Atlanta. And the foul is called on Atlanta. It's on Graham.
Dominique starting to go baseline on Mason, is stopped but comes back to the other answer, and he's had many of those answers tonight from good range.
Rasmussen all over Ewing. Ewing playing with the 4 fouls. Mason backing Wilkins. Mason on the follow. So Anthony Mason hits the reverse, and he has now become a factor. Slow start for Mason, 11 points. Wilkins trying to do it off the dribble, and he's held. Basket won't count. Anthony Mason saying, where'd I touch him? But that is number 4. Anthony Mason loves the assignment against a player such as Dominique Wilkins. He says, call me the locksmith, because he has pride in locking his man up, shutting him down. Not exactly shutting down Dominique Wilkins, but he's done a good job on making it difficult for Wilkins to get off the shots that he desired. And Blaylock lost it.
Well, last year in their first game here at the Omni, Dominique had 52 in that double overtime game. The call looks like it's going to be reversed.
Well, Mike Mathis, the outside official, had a different look. Lane Reichelt was saying last touch by Blaylock, that he lost it. But Mathis claims that it was deflected out. Here's another look at it.
Blaylock dishing the ball off, had it deflected in the opinion of the outside official.
Shot clock at 5. Wilkins rebounded by Campbell. 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Ewing with a drop step took a knee from Rasmussen.
Ewing has gotten conservative offensively once he got in foul trouble, and he's come back in very quietly into the Knicks offense. However, they must start going to him. Rasmussen can't stop Ewing.
Wayne Farrell sitting down. Kevin Willis is back. Blair Rasmussen called for his fourth. The Knicks with the ball and a 5-point lead. Oh, good play by Blaylock, showing the quick hands. Willis guarded by Ewing. Blaylock, got a dish it to Willis.
Rivers made a terrific play.
Here's Graham. And Ewing able to come away with it. Campbell, yes. Tony Campbell providing a 91-84 lead for the Knicks. 16 points for Campbell. Timeout called by the Hawks.
Toyota matchup involving the Hawks. It has to involve Dominique Wilkins. And he has been on fire tonight. He was stopped beautifully by Mason a few minutes ago, but he went to the jump shot. He has all kinds of options in his defense. But Mason's getting hot in the second half. He's become a factor, working hard inside on Dominique, then getting his own rebound and putting that ball up in a difficult move. He's a vacuum cleaner around the basket.
A vacuum cleaner. John coining yet another phrase.
And a locksmith.
Dominique Wilkins has 28 points. He is the high man. The Knicks being led by Ewing, who has 18. Campbell with 16. 6:15 remaining, fourth quarter. The Knicks by 7. Starks with the steal. Starks with the bucket. What a play by John Starks, and he was fouled.
Marv, you had to see Pat Riley bend over backwards on this play. Oh, Starks' quickness. Blaylock throwing that bounce pass in. And Starks making a very difficult shot, hanging in the air and finishing it beautifully with that touch. And he'll go to the line.
Blaylock called for the foul. 14 points for John Starks. The Knicks 94. The Hawks 89.
That's 10 in the second half for Starks.
Willis with the step, and he's fouled by Ewing. That's 5 on Ewing. 5 apiece on Ewing and Smith. Charles Smith, though, not able to get a game, limited to 4 minutes in the first half, picking up 3 fouls. Ewing indicating that he wants to stay in. Let's see how Pat Riley plays it with 5:54 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Knicks assistant coach Dick Harder up with Pat Riley moments ago discussing strategy.
Kevin Willis continues to struggle at the line. Passed on a incorrect score a moment ago. It is a 10-point Knick lead. Ewing. Here's Starks. Yes. Meanwhile, it was Starks with a beautiful pass to Ewing, but Ewing could not hit.
Ewing furious, arguing with the official. He thought he was fouled, but Starks just went about his business and finished things up.
Rivers picks up the foul. That'll put Willis at the line once again. Willis is 5 of 11 from the free throw line. And you mentioned the Hawk problems at the line last year, second worst in the NBA.
Lewis makes the second of 2.
The Knicks 96, the Hawks 85. Hawks with a good run early in this fourth quarter, chipping away at that 17-point Knick lead. And That is a backcourt violation, so the Knicks turn it over.
Mason arguing that Rasmussen slapped the ball, but the fact is he held the ball too long, and that's what got him in trouble. He has such confidence, Marv, that he's built up being played by people in close, but he had a 7-foot man around him, and Kevin Willis, his vision was gone.
5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Wilkins fouled by Campbell. That's 4 on Tony Campbell. Dominique Wilkins to the line.
Knicks have outscored the Hawks 11-5 after a 17-3 run that brought Atlanta right back to this game.
Dominique Wilkins with a rare appearance at the line. He's 2 for 2 from the line tonight. Laylock back for Wiley. The Knicks by 9. Knicks have Rivers and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing with Campbell and Mason up front.
Ewing's trying to set up low to get that ball. He finally does. Willis doesn't put the hands up for some reason, as Ewing has an uncontested jump shot.
Patrick Ewing with 20. The Knicks 98, the Hawks 87.
That's only Ewing's 4th point of the second half. Isolation in favor of Dominique, and he stays with the shot as he always seems to do.
Starks with the step. Yes, and a nice return pass from Rivers.
And no one's happier than Doc Rivers, who threw that pass.
It's been a sparked up New York Knicks ball club right throughout.
Turn it off. They're now in a turn it on period. And Doc Rivers giving us on opening night.
Now again, Mark Price can take the ball on the dribble, maybe get the foul.
10 to shoot. Doherty gets it inside. He's fouled by Grant.
Ironic with that last assist. We now look at the Hawks all-time assist leaders, and who is it? None other than Doc Rivers.
We've received a report on Charles Oakley involved in that collision with Kevin Willis. Charles requiring 5 stitches over the right eye, and he will not play tonight. Played very well, though. Oakley.
So they only have 1 foul to waste right now rather than the 3 because they've not used them up.
Doherty with that is 15 points, has 12 rebounds. Phil Jackson gets a timeout. Cavs are within 1 with 1:26 remaining.
Mason guarding the taller Willis and came in to help, and Starks made the play.
3.5 remaining, fourth quarter. The Knicks lead at 100-87. And a traveling violation called on Mason. The Knicks stay with Mason, Campbell, and Ewing up front. Starks and Rivers in the backcourt. Wilkins from deep. Rivers stepped out, try to save it.
You know, it's amazing, Marv. The Hawks have a 7-foot center out there, Blair Rasmussen, and he is as invisible as a 7-foot man can be for this game. They don't go to him. They don't look to him. His thing is offense, and he doesn't get his hands on the basketball.
And when you talk about offense with Blair Rasmussen, for the most part it is from the outside. He is certainly not a post-up player.
He's handling the ball outside. That seems to be his function, as we see on the inbounds.
Willis. Kevin Willis able to square up and connect. 26 for Willis. The Hawk offense has been Willis and Wilkins. Dominique with 30, Willis with 26. Campbell had the open shot and then threw it away.
Well, he's so sensitive to taking a lot of shots, and he took it in and threw a very difficult pass to Ewing.
2.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Knicks lead by 11. Mason in a battle with Willis.
That's a win by Mason if you make Willis take a very difficult shot like that with his height advantage.
Starks changed his mind, and Mason was able to follow the pass.
Alertly good play by Mason.
How often you'll see a play like that, you'll see the ball bounce off the guy's head or shoulder.
But you know, also, Marv, it was a softly thrown pass by Starks. Catchable.
All right, right here with the Knicks up 102-89. The Hawks call for time. Let's go to Mike Crispino.
Marvin John, to the spectrum we go. Kenny Anderson picks the pocket of Jeff Hornacek late in the game, and the Nets get within one. Derek Coleman followed with a bucket and a block, and the Nets win their opener. 114-111.
102, and the Hawks 89. Here's a look at that last play. Starks going up for the jump, then changed his mind, but Mason was able to follow all the way and ends up with the layup. So Anthony Mason with 13 points. 4 Knicks in double figures. Ewing with 20. Starks, who came on strong in the second half, has 18. Campbell with 16. Make it 5 Knicks in double figures. Oakley with 12. That's a 3-point attempt. Just under 2 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Rivers. I don't know if Doc thought the shot clock was running down or trying to throw the foul. And the foul is called on Starks. Atlanta opened up this fourth quarter red hot, hit 7 of the first 8. Made a run against the Knicks. Knicks led by as many as 17, but the Knicks able to regroup. And they lead it here 102-89. Travis Mays to the free throw line.
Well, the Knicks depth and balance has been on exhibit, Marv, here throughout this game, and it's really meant the difference. Charles Smith, a very light performer here tonight. He could have been so important against Willis, and yet the Knicks seem to have overcome the Willis problem.
Knicks lead by 12. Hawks have really had their problems at the foul line. 13 of 22 from the line, and it has hurt. Minute 25 remaining in the fourth. Ewing drawing the double team and lost it. Here's Mays. The Knicks 102 and Atlanta 92. We approach 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Ewing. 22 for Ewing.
Patrick's been dying to do that.
8 for 17 shooting for Ewing. 6 of 9 from the line. 11 rebounds. He has been in foul trouble throughout the
3-point game. 12.3 remaining. Well, this is the kind of way, the way it's going to be for Cleveland and Chicago all year. But I think this, Doug, this game was a very important tone setter for the Cavaliers.
Notice the Knick new look in terms of the warm-up suits.
Very nice.
And the Hawks have new streamlined uniforms. .51 seconds to go in the game. The Knicks 104, the Hawks 94. Pressure by Atlanta. Knicks trying to use the clock. Shot clock at 10. Down to 5. Rivers for 3. And it comes back to Starks. So they'll try to just hold on. Mason. And we're down to 15 seconds. Traveling violation call. The Knicks with a 12-point lead, so they will come away with an opening night victory here at the Omni in Atlanta.
They struggled throughout much of this game, but they wore down the Atlanta Hawks.
Down to 10 seconds. Doc Rivers just running the clock down. And that is it. The New York Knicks open up this 1992-93 season with a 106-94 win against the Atlanta Hawks. So this new look squad, as you said, had some ups and downs tonight. However, the balance did come through, and they got a good all-around effort with 5 players ending up in double figures. We'll have all the stats in a moment. The recap right after we pause for these messages. New York Knicks have defeated the Atlanta Hawks on opening night by the score of 106-94. Crowd of better than 16,000 on hand here at the Omni. And the Coca-Cola Classic player of the game, John Starks of the New York Knicks, turning it on in the second half. 18 points for Starks on 7 of 12 from the field.
John played a lot of defense too, as he did on this play on his way to a three-point play. Beautifully done. Starks thinks defense first, but it was his 6 for 8 shooting in the second half that really helped the Knicks turn this thing around. And this new shot he has, the one dribble up for the jump shot, was also on display.
John Starks with 14 of his 18 points in the second half, and he got the Knicks going in the fourth quarter after Atlanta had come from behind and had made a move. We'll be right back.
Genuine as the people who drink it. Nothing beats a Bud.
And the Bud Dunk of the game honors tonight go to Patrick Ewing for this move along the baseline, able to slam it home for 2 of his 22 points. The feed from Starks, and Ewing able to put it away for our dunk of the game. The leading scorer summary brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. Ewing with 22, Starks with 18, 14 of the 18 coming in the second half. Tony Campbell 16 points, and Anthony Mason with 15. The Atlanta Hawks led by Dominique Wilkins with 30, 13 of 26 from the field. He went over the 20,000 career point mark. And Kevin Willis 10 of 20 for 28 points. Nice opening night for Tony Campbell, making his New York Knicks debut. 7 of 13, 16 points, 4 assists, couple of steals. And the pride of Teaneck, New Jersey, is alongside John.
Thank you, Marv. Yes, the pride of Teaneck was on display in his first official game as a member of the Knicks. Tony, how do you feel now? What was your feeling about this game?
I felt real good, though. I was happy that we were able to collectively come out, though, and everybody contribute, though. You know, Charles Smith got in foul trouble, and we had some sluggish moments, though, but we stuck it out, though, and I'm glad we got the win.
Now, you had the short straw. You were guarding the red-hot Dominique Wilkins coming back off that injury, and he turned it on. What were you thinking when things went his way in the first half?
Well, see, I know Dominique was going to shoot the ball a lot. You know, I had my mind made up he was going to shoot it a lot. I just tried to do my best to try to discourage a lot of his shots, though, to get in this way to make it tougher for him, though. You know, he's a good player. You have to give him credit. Even though he's coming off an injury, though, he's playing like he never really had an injury, though. But I think you know, one person will not beat us, so it's going to take a collective effort from the other team's you know, entire team. And I'm very happy that we were able to come back right at them and able to pull out the win.
Tony, does that affect your offense when the man you're guarding, I mean, a superstar like Wilkins, gets so hot? Do you feel that kind of takes you out of the offense, or are you able to concentrate on the other end as well?
It's not really a tough transition. I think it's, you know, it's something that you just, you know, with the conditioning, you have to be in shape. If you're conditioned well enough, then you should be able to handle both ends of the court, though. And I'm making a conscious effort, though, to really try to turn up the defense, though, and still, when the team needs me offensively, John, to come in there and, you know, give them what they need offensively.
Well, congratulations, Tony, on your Knicks debut. A very impressive all-around effort by you and the team, and we'll see you back in New York.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now let's go back to Marv Albert.
All right, John, so Tony Campbell with 16 points, one of 5 Knicks to hit double figures tonight against the Hawks. We'll be right back. Successful season opener for the New York Knicks as they defeat the Hawks 94. And John, checking out the stat sheet, the Knicks shot just under 54% for the game, and they out-rebounded the Hawks 43-28, led by Ewing, who had 11, Oakley with 8.
Yes, it wasn't a perfect game by the Knicks by any stretch. The Hawks played well, I thought, too, throughout. But the balance and depth and the good shooting came through, and they just rolled.
And the Knicks take on the 76ers back at the Garden tomorrow night. Philadelphia losing to the Nets by the score of 114-111 earlier in the evening.
Good start for the Nets, but the Sixers, of course, will be the Knicks' opponent tomorrow night, and that's what Tony Campbell said. That's all we're thinking about now, tomorrow night.
Okay, we'll be back right after these words. Victory here in Atlanta tonight. One other factor, a strong performance by the Knicks bench.
Yes, we'll take a look now at our Midas bench breakdown. We see Anthony Mason leading the way with 15 points off the bench, something the Knicks expect to see a lot of this year with their strong bench.
So the Knicks over Atlanta 106-94 tomorrow 7:30 p.m. Following Knicks game night, the Knicks go up against the Philadelphia 76ers. Up next this week in the Big East, followed by